Hey guys, welcome back. I am Stu and this is Coastersaurus for Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic Time Twister Expansion. You've been given the task of constructing a Jurassic era theme park. To optimize your visitors' access to the exotic plant and animal exhibits, you will need to build rides going over and into the valley. Your objective: to have at least 2,700 guests in your park at the end of October year 4 with a park rating of at least 600. Wow. Okay, this looks like a mess. Okay, so we've got a park split into two with two entrance and exits. Oh, that's gonna cause some issues. We've got some monorails and chairlifts, a couple of other rides as well. Connecting the two sides together. Now we know that guests don't treat transport rides as a way of getting from one place to another. They just treat them as rides. So the way this layout is it's a recipe for disaster. It looks like a recipe for guests getting lost and stuck. Free admission, so we're going to be charging for the rides, and we've got the monorail and chairlifts. Then we've got a few gentle rides, good selection of coasters to begin with, good selection of thrill rides, a couple of water rides, and loads of shops, and an ATM as well. That could be handy because we do need quite a high number of guests. So considering what we've got, then I'm going to put all my research into gentle rides. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do then. I've been really good lately with keeping all the starting scenery and rides and things like that. So I think surely no one can begrudge me getting rid of everything on this map, because this looks like it's going to be an absolute disaster as far as guests getting lost and stuck concerned. So I'm going to get rid of everything, and I think maybe connect the two up a path leading from one side to another. I don't know, but I'm going to get rid of everything and then have a think about it. See what we can come up with. April year 1, I've got rid of all the rides and all the paths. That gave us around 48,000 to play with. And now what I've done is I've decided that rather than connecting both sides up with a path and having guests going back and forth, what I'm going to do is I've just built a path leading from this entrance all the way down. I've had to go around this bit of scenery there that I can't delete, and then all the way along. So I've got the no entry signs there, so the guests can't go backwards. And the reason I've got so many is because what I'm worried about, if I only put a few, they might stop and look and think, oh, that's good scenery, and then turn around and go backwards. But this way, they have to keep going the same direction all the way along to this entrance. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cram down as many rides as I can in this section, and hopefully that'll give us the 2,700 guests that we need. So I'm going to crack on. Let's see how we go. Junior 1, and I've noticed that a lot of the guests want rides that have got a bit more intensity than the gentle rides that we're researching. So whilst when we do have a lot of guests in the park, they will go on the gentle rides. At the moment, we're not getting so many going on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crack on with more exciting rides, perhaps start researching coasters, something like that, and then and just put down as many cheap and cheerful little rides as we can. October year 1, we have got the award for the best toilets. So to win that, you need to have at least 4 toilets, and then after that, then it's 1 toilet per 128 guests, and you might win it. It's all random, but all the good awards, they give you a boost of guests. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting down as many cheap and cheerful rides as I can. I'm keeping a 1 tile gap between the edge, and in that way then I've got loads of space to put shops and things like that down. That'll earn us a ton of cash as well from merchandising and things like that. So we're making some good money at the moment. Shop sales, it rained last month, so that explains the 3,700. So I've got umbrellas up to £20, going quite aggressive on that. Yeah, so I think we're doing okay. We've got tons of space left. We should be all right. We've still got the green arrow. So I'm just going to continue putting down as many rides as I can, and we'll see how we go. October 2, we are making big cash every month, almost 14,000. Probably the standout ride at the moment is this wooden coaster. So I've got a block section there, just before where the trains come in at the bottom of the screen. So the timing's pretty good. Synchronizes pretty well. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just putting down as many coasters as we can. This bit where it narrows, I've got a few thrill rides. Oh, bit of lag there. We've already researched the theming. I usually switch that off if I can help it. I haven't noticed that though. So inverted coaster just there. So we've got 1,800 guests. So we need another 900 more. Space is going to be tight. So let's see if we can win maybe a few more awards. And I think when we get up to here, if we're not that close, we're gonna have to try and put some really, really small coasters down, try and cheese it. But we're doing okay. It's so far so good. We're not having any guests getting lost or stuck, which we would have done if we had both sides open. Because what would happen is you'd have guests over here wanting to ride the rides that are over here, and because the AI isn't clever enough, they wouldn't know how to get there, and then they'd end up getting lost and stuck. We'd get complaints, the rating would suffer. So hopefully this plan of mine will work, and it'll all turn out good. But if not, I think it'll be back to the drawing board. I've still got 2 years, so we should be able to get 900 guests in 2 years. October year 3, 2,300 and almost 60 guests in the park. Money is still good, so we haven't got to worry about that. We've got 170k in the bank. So I'm a bit mindful of overcrowding. So this log flume, I've got a lot of capacity in the queue and on the ride as well. So let's have a look. How many on there? 60 guests. That's not too bad. And in the queue, nearly 140. So that's about 200 guests tucked away just on that ride. Got a Virginia reel there as well. Again, nice big queue for that. Go-karts, nice big queue for that. Quite slow throughput. And then we got a couple of these pterodactyl coasters as well. Nice long queues. And then, so I'm a bit mindful of the guest total now. So we're about 300 or so guests short. So I've put down some really small corkscrew coasters. So it's, what is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles long on the station. And then it goes into a half loop. And we've got it set to powered launch at 22 miles per hour. And it's not fast enough for it to go all the way through. So we're just waiting for one to launch so we can see it. There you go, just enough. Decent excitement. And then I've got a photo section on the back. You could leave that off if you wanted to save some space, but the factor is on there. Even though it doesn't go through it, the guests are still able to buy a photo. So these rides alone, I think a corkscrew probably adds around, I don't know, maybe 80 guests to a park. So we got 6 of them. So that's a good couple of 100 guests. We're doing all right. I mean, I've still got another year to go, so I'm not panicking, but I do have another trick up my sleeve. So, and thankfully, this one tile gap that I've left for shops, I'll be able to use that trick on that. But I'll see you next year, where hopefully we'll have beaten the scenario goal. Therefore, I've added a load of motion simulators as well. So that'll help get some guests in. I'm still 200 short. So here's my cunning plan. This little one tile maze. But there. So it takes up, if you include the path and the exit and the entrance path, that's 5 tiles. So I can put a few of them down there and I can double up. So the next one, I can put the entrance next to this entrance. And then when it comes to the exit, I can double up and they can share it. That'll save a bit of space. Maybe rejig where some of the shops are to fit a few more in. We've got the green arrow, so we should be all right. And these little mazes as well. We've got some extra space around the park. We can drop a few more down. We should be okay. There's a few months left, so I'm not panicking. I reckon we'll do it. October 4, only a couple of weeks to go until the end of the scenario. We needed 2,700 guests in the park. We've got 3,400. So it's gone up a huge amount since we last spoke, and that was only a few months ago. The guests have been coming in their droves. No awards, so no boosts this month. We have won the odd 1 or 2. Got a few of the mini mazes down. Just down here. They all add, I'm not sure if it's about 40 or 50 guests per maze. They'll add to the suggested park maximum. One thing I did as well at the beginning of the year was reduce the prices down on some of the rides. So it's, there you go, £2 for the coasters as well. Because we've got so much cash. We're still taking a lot, still taking 10,000. Before that, we were up to about 16,000 as well. Have I still got research on? I have. That's annoying. We've researched everything. It's still charging me. Look, we've finished researching everything. When was the last time we actually researched something now? Months and months and months ago. But it's still charging us. That's something you've got to keep your eye on if you're short of money. At the moment, we're not short of money, so it's not a big deal. Okay, then. So, the park goal, 2,700. When we started, there was a load of monorails and chairlifts connecting both sides of the map up. Transport rides, guests don't treat them as a way of getting from A to B. They don't. So if they're this side and they want to ride, they want to go on a ride this side, they won't think, I'm going to go on that monorail and go over there, then go on the ride, which you would do in real life. They haven't got the AI for that. So what they will try and do is they'll try and walk it, and then they'll end up getting lost and stuck, and then your park rating will suffer. So rather than have to deal with all that nonsense, what I decided to do was get rid of all the rides and all the paths, and that gave us a cool 48,000 in the bank. And then what I did then is I built a nice path from the start all the way down, no entry signs, all the way, keep them going the same direction, and then up then to here, the start of the second side. So that means all the guests are one side of the park. They're going to find it a lot easier to get to different rides and shops and things like that. That way then we're not going to have any issues with the guest rating. And it's been on maximum for ages now. We haven't really had any issues with that. And then from there, what I did was I put my research into gentle rides, and then I started building some cheap and cheerful rides. So I put down a Dodgems and a couple of junior coasters. But then I looked at the guests as they were starting to come in, and I noticed then that, let's see if we can see it on here. There you go. Preferred ride intensity, greater than 4. Kieran, less than 3. There you go. So you might want a gentle ride. Greater than 4 for Mandy. Abu, 1 to 7. So what I thought was the guests wanted rides that were more intense than the gentle rides. So I switched my research up into coasters, and then started just putting down as many cheap and cheerful coasters as I could fit in. Having said that, I haven't gone that efficient with the spacing. I have got some nice pathing systems going all the way around it to soak up the extra guests. Let's have another look at this one, just in case you missed it the first time. It's about to go Halloween. So using a block brake, I've been able to get the timing just right so they synchronize through the loop. And then we carried on building and we've completed it. Stew. Carried on building up here. Where it gets narrow, we've put down some thrill rides, starting to get some bigger pathing now, some longer pathing, because I'm getting a bit mindful of overcrowding issues. Log flume, Virginia Reel, a couple more coasters up the back, and then starting to get mindful of the number of guests in the park. So I put down a few of these really short coasters, a couple of motion simulators, fiver, and then still a bit short on the guest number. So I added a load of these tiny little mazes, and then after that, the guests just started streaming in their droves. I did reduce the price down as well, so all the coasters are £2 a go. That helped retain a load of the guests, and that's why we've now got over 3,500 guests, and the green arrow is still there. So I don't know how many it's going to go up to, because I'm not going to play it. I'm going to crack on with the next one. So this was Coastersaurus. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.